Now, with modern life comes busy schedules, and many of us are quite bad, really, at taking a step back and thinking about ourselves and our own physical and mental health. And as a result, issues like depression are a really big problem in Australia. A staggering 1 million people suffer from it, and close to half experience some sort of mental health condition at some stage in their life. Well, one man has made it his mission to try to help more of us find a little bit of happiness in amidst it all, and he's written his first ever book to provide us with some tools along the way. And I'm pleased to say that Hugh van Cuylenburg is with us in the studio now. Hugh, good morning to you.
Good morning, Deb.
So anyone that I've ever spoken to who has written a book says how hard it is, how much time it takes, how stressful it is. So you've written a book about finding happiness. Did you find any happiness writing this book, or are you not practising what you preach here?
I'll be really honest, I didn't quite practice what I preached while I was writing the book, but I actually blame the receptionist here at Channel 9.
Really?
She's one of the reasons I've written it, because every single time I leave the Today Show and walk past, she says, "When are you going to write a book?" Every time you're on here, I just get absolutely smashed by phone calls, so I sort of in part blame her.
Well, there you go. She has a lot to answer for a lot of people, that is for sure. So tell us a bit about the book. I mean, obviously you've been doing the Resilience Project, doing talks in schools, and you've been asked pretty much to put pen to paper. Yeah,
so I suppose for me, I mean, it started for me with my little sister Georgia. When she was 14 years old, she was diagnosed with a mental illness, and it ravaged her. I mean, all the viewers out there, anyone who has a loved one in their life who is experiencing mental illness, they know it's not just that person who suffers, it's everyone gets ravaged by those things.
Yeah, it's the whole family, yeah.
It is, and so when my sister's 14 with her diagnosis, I kind of became fascinated by the question, what is it that makes people happy? Because from a basic level, I really wanted my mum and dad and my little brother Josh to feel happy again, because we were a really happy family until my sister's diagnosis, and then it kind of changed, and from that point of view I became fascinated about what is it that makes us happy. And it wasn't, till 12 years later that I found myself living up in the Himalayas in a desert community, teaching, volunteering in a school, that I lived with this community that had so very little to call their own, but they just seemed to be so unbelievably full of joy, and they managed to cope with life's challenges really well. And so I think that's sort of what has sort of inspired the Resilience Project, and then from there, sort of the book followed. About 10 years after we started doing talks around the country.
Well, I guess it's always dependent for every individual. It's a different thing. What makes one person happy can make another one absolutely unhappy. I mean, is there a central common key though that we can all learn from and all apply?
Well, what I found and what this book is about is three things that I saw people stop their day and practice every single day. Gratitude, the ability to pay attention to what you've got, not to worry about what you don't have. So many of us are living by this model of happiness called the if and then model of happiness. This is where we say to ourselves, if I buy this iPad, then I feel happy. If I buy this car, then I feel happy. If I get this promotion, then I feel happy. Nothing wrong with wanting those things, but you can't pin your happiness to them. Gratitude is where happiness comes from. We've got so much in this country, but we miss the things we have all the time. So busy worrying about the stuff we don't have. And empathy and mindfulness, kindness, treating people the other way, treating people the way you want to be treated, and mindfulness, actually being calm and being present.
Because you hear a lot about mindfulness, and it's like, what does it mean? What does being mindful actually mean?
It's a bit of a buzzword, isn't it?
It's like, I'm very mindful. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Yeah,
so there's a lot of, as far as I'm concerned, if I can really try and make it as simple as possible, for me, mindful is being calm and it's being present. Well,
what does being present mean?
Well, it's being present so that you can become
I'm here, I'm present.
Well, so 49% of the time, according to the research, we spend 49% of our day thinking about the future. And we spend, I think, don't quote, I think it's around 30% of our day thinking about the past. So that gives us about 15–20% of our day where we're actually thinking about what's happening as it's happening. And that's really sad when you consider 100% of our time is the present moment.
So thinking about the here and the now.
Yeah, but we're not bad people, but you know what it feels like. You have a rough day at work and you think, I just want to be at home and having dinner with the family. And then you get home and you're having dinner with the family and you realise the last 5 minutes you haven't listened to a word anyone's saying because you're too busy thinking about something that happened at work during the day or something that's coming up the next day. So when you practice mindfulness, what you do is you teach yourself just to be present and to be okay with what's happening as it's happening. And so, because I do these talks all over the country, and then people say, we need the strategies, practical strategies, and that's kind of why that and the receptionist here at Channel 9 is why we decided to actually go and do the book, so there can be some practical strategies that people can implement every single day. Because if you want to be good at something in life, you've got to practice it. And your mental health and your happiness is no different. If you want to have good mental health, you've got to put the time in.
And scheduling time for it is the big thing, isn't it? It's pretty much saying, this is what I'm doing and nothing else is going to interfere.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is, but there's also ways we can implement this stuff in everyday life. So for me, for example, to practice mindfulness, when I walk the dog in the morning, all I do is I think about what I can hear. That's it. And so I stop and I think while I'm walking, I think I can hear the trees, I can hear cars, I can hear a train. And then my brain always says, now, where are you speaking today? What venue are you at? And then I go, no, what can I hear right now? I can hear my footsteps. And all you're doing then, it's not taking extra time out of your day. It's incorporating it into something else that you already do, such as walking the dog.
Yeah. And I love the fact that being kind is sort of at the heart of it as well.
Because, it's amazing. Because every single time you do something nice to someone else, your brain releases this hormone called oxytocin, and that's known as the
happy
hormone.
drug.
Yeah, it is, because every single time your brain... And I'm not talking about outrageous acts of kindness, like letting someone into traffic, holding the door open for someone, shouting someone a coffee. When you do those things, your brain releases, and it just makes you feel happy. So it's not taking extra time out of your day, really. It's just being a little bit more aware of the things that are happening around us. And we're bad at that these days, because we walk around like this and we're missing opportunities to be there for people all the time. Connection's so good for our mental health, yet, we feel like we've never been so connected before, yet we've never been lonelier, because we're just on our bloody phones the whole time.
Yeah, the screens, the devices. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But you've talked a lot about that and being connected. Well, well done on the book.
Thank you. I saw it at Sydney Airport yesterday. Which
that
was
made you happy?
Well, it was right next to Michelle Obama's book, and I was thinking, don't put it there. Don't put it next to hers.
No, that's good.
But
that's
anyway,
good.
but it is nice to see it out in the shops.
Yeah, well done. It's a great accomplishment. And when's the next book coming out there? No pressure.
Oh, it's
on the way out.
years,
The receptionist will ask you that too.
That's exactly right.
Good on you, Hugh. Thanks so much for coming in. Fantastic.
Thanks,